Hello, everybody. Charlene Bauer, Ladies Off-Road Network, Bauer Motorsports Media, and all of the fun stuff that we do here in Bauer Media Land and Ladies Off-Road Network Land. Welcome to Live at 5 on a Tuesday, which is also our Trail Ready Tuesdays. Now, Trail Ready Tuesdays have been so much fun this year. This is June's, which is number 6. Is that right? January, February, March, April, May, June, 6. And in my outline, as I reflected on it yesterday, all of a sudden I'm like, woohoo! We can talk about my favorite topic, which is tires, wheels, and brakes. So, in Trail Ready topics, that is what we are going to hit on today. But right now, make sure that as you are coming in, you're saying your hellos. Let's make sure we get our chat up in here, so everybody can see it, which is amazing and fun. Tell us where you are coming in from. Let's see where we got everybody coming in from on the chat. Love it. All right. So we'll get those showing up and say your hellos to everybody on a June Tuesday. So it is an exciting week and day. Actually, today is the 2nd. Yesterday was the 1st. And the 1st represents a lot of things. So June 1st is when I get to celebrate all kinds of different opportunities. We have 32 years of working in the off-road industry, 10 years of Ladies Off-Road Network. But maybe what some of you don't realize is in there, it's 17 years of Bauer Media. So Bauer Media is the parent company to Ladies Off-Road Network. Bauer Media is what I started way back in the days. We came out of the magazine industry crashing in 2008 because the economy crashed. I said, you know what? We still need media. We still need people's stories. We need all of this to continue to happen. And so I started Bauer Media, which is a PR and marketing firm for racers, companies, and events. And today it's 17 years old. One more year and it's an adult. Maybe it can run on its own. Is that how this works? I don't know if that's how that works in business, but man, that would be nice. It's definitely been a teenager lately. And so with that, 10 years ago, I had the awesome opportunity to start jumping into the education side of things. And the education side took on a niche, and that niche was ladies. And so we have Ladies Off-Road Network. And as you guys have seen the story about the original name was Gem Off-Road. And maybe you saw it written out and didn't really think about it. But now everybody try and spell Gem, like Gem Off-Road, right? Like, how do you spell that? What does it say? What are we meaning? What in the world? And that's what we came up with because, back in the day, acronyms were like this huge thing and you need to turn everything into an acronym. And so we took the words guiding, educating, and motivating, which are the 3 things that we do, and put it into Gem Off-Road. And it was this really cool logo that had a diamond on it and the mountain tops on it. Really rad. And then I realized nobody could understand what I was saying or how to spell it, how to find it, how to anything, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so not gonna work. And so we instantly regrouped, and in real fashion, I'm like, let's see, ladies, off-road, and networking. Perfect. So that's how we came up with Ladies Off-Road Network. So the 10-year logo, who got one? Who got a sticker in the mail? Got one. Thumbs up, heart, something. Sticker in the mail of the 10-year special anniversary logo with the gold is the Ladies Off-Road Network standard logo incorporated with the original Gem logo. So that's a special one, you guys. There's only a handful of them. So make sure that you put that somewhere very special. Put it on something. Love it. Appreciate it. All the rest of it. If you just got the email, you also got a 50% off code for all gear in the store until Saturday. That includes these shirts, right? With the new logo on it. So I wore this tonight on purpose, of course, because it's our 10-year anniversary and I wanted to show off the fancy logo and it's just such an awesome month. But make sure that you guys take advantage of that. If you did not get that email and you want to get the email or you want to get the code, then you need to email me at Charlene at Ladies Networks with an S .com. Here, I'll put it up really fast so you can see it. Maybe, maybe not. Where's my email address? Well, that didn't work out well. All right. But here is the store. OffroadExpress.com. And in the meantime, we'll do this. Charlene at Ladies Networks. S.com networks. So you all got the email with the link. You all got, there we go, Charlene at ladiesnetworks.com. All right. Good stuff. So you got the email, you got the sticker, you got cool stuff. And if you didn't get something in the mail, did y'all get something in the mail? Got it in the mail? Got it in the mail? Okay. If you did not get something in the mail, then you should also email me your mailing address and I will get you something in the mail. And that will get you a sticker. Okay. Good stuff. So milestones, what are some of your milestones? Like that's the question, right? That's the question of the day. What are some of the milestones that you've hit maybe in your work life, maybe in your relationship? I don't know. Maybe you survived a kid turning 18 and graduating from high school. Just did that too, right? Maybe your pet piston just turned 15. Like that's a major milestone. So what's a milestone that you've done? 32 years working in the off-road industry, changing tires almost the whole time. 10 years of Ladies Off-Road Network. Like that's a big milestone. 17 of Bauer Media, random number, right? But it still means something. So what's one of your milestones that you guys have hit? And I love this. Everybody's got one. Awesome. All right. So put that in there. Love to hear your milestones, see your milestones, or reach out to me. It is June, which also means we have two things that we have been talking about since December. Like, I feel like I've been harping on this stuff since December. So I don't know. You guys are going to be done with these two topics. And in July, we're going to have to talk about something else, right? So, since December, June 8th, Nomad Rally starts. So Nomad Rally starts next week. If you guys have not already signed up for that, make sure that you get signed up for the Nomad Rally as soon as possible. It is time. She's shipping out packages. She's doing all the things. So Nomad Rally starts next week. Get online now, register. It is a blast. It's a ton of fun. It's definitely something you want to do. Even if you can't commit to it all, like we've been talking about, just do what you can do and it'll be fun. And then, of course, we have the Ladies Off-Road Network 10-year anniversary party, June 12th to the 14th in California. All right, who else come in? Yes. Coming. I know, I'm so excited. So that is happening in 2 weeks. Party. My group of ladies that is coming, which I love the group that's coming, you will be hearing from me in the next couple days with some more details, but you should all already have gotten me the information into my spreadsheet and got into Mighty into our secret zone, which has all of your details in there, plus a couple, which we both know about, and those will be coming out this week. So very excited. Cannot wait. Excited. Party. And if you are not a part of the party plan yet, you got this week. Like, you need to get in there. You need to get registered. You need to get signed up. I need to know who's coming. We need to lock this baby down. It is time. It's way past time, you guys. Like, this is like Charlene procrastinator style. Like, you need to have already been in the list. Okay, get on it. ladiesoffroadnetwork.com, and then you'll see the 10-year party, which means here pretty quick, the website's changing again, right? So all of this stuff that was a June start date, it's coming off. So by the time we talk in July, we're going to have to come up with all kinds of other things to talk about. All right. I love the milestones. Congratulations to you guys. I'm seeing some great ones. If you haven't put in a milestone yet, what's something that you've done, worked for 10 years someplace, lived somewhere for a long time, and you have the opportunity to take advantage of that 50% off all the gear in the store until Saturday. All right. So that's some of the detail stuff. Let me take this off and let's talk about tires. Let's talk about wheels. Let's talk about brakes. Trail Ready series, right? I've been loving this Trail Ready series. Do you guys love it? Can I get some hearts or thumbs up or something? Like, give me something. It's been fun. It's casual, right? It's these Tuesday nights, Trail Readies. At least you guys are leaving with something. Or you can jump on with us right after this onto our Google Chats where we can chat some more, dive into some of your questions. And it doesn't have to be about this topic. It can be about any question that you want. So tonight is about tires, wheels, and brakes. We're starting to break down the vehicle now. We started with like super giant topics and getting out on the trail. And now we're breaking down the vehicle. And of course, I had to start with my favorite topic, which tires are sexy. Tires are the only thing touching the ground. Do we agree? Agree? Thumbs up. Come on, help me out here. So tires are the only thing touching the ground, which also means this is like the safety aspect of your vehicle. Of course, we don't want bolts to fall apart. Like, we need to be able to do our bolt checks and everything that we've talked about already. But having those tires have the ability to have the appropriate amount of traction while we were out on the trail, while we were on the road, while we were getting to the trail, while we were doing anything is so important. So, so important. So I always talk about tires and making sure that you're aware of that. With that being said, we need traction, right? Traction is the word that we use as we're out on the trails. How much traction do we have as we're rolling up onto these rocks? How much traction do we have in the soft sand? Tread depth matters. So I have seen some tires lately that are worn down, my friends, like worn down to the nubs. No, we need tread depth. So you will see online, they're like, oh yeah, take a dime, put the dime in. You know, if it like reaches the head, then you're good. In our big tire phases, we're looking at like a quarter. So you see the dime and the penny, but really you need to go get that quarter and see where that quarter is fitting on the head of that vehicle, of that tire. That's going to give you the safety aspect that you're looking for. Okay. I want to talk about tire types. And again, this is not my full tilt, like 1 hour long tire talk. This is a Tuesday topic that I'm just going to run through really fast. So we have LT. If you see an LT on the tire, that means light truck. For the most part, if you're in the Jeep zone, if you're in the truck zone, you want an LT tire. It allows that tire to have weight. It has bigger, better sidewalls. If you have a car tire, that car tire has a very thin sidewall. We all know I live in the BFG land, okay, right? Like all the BFG stuff and everything. So I can relate to that. But also, I know that not everybody listening right now has BFG tires, which is fine. So I like to relate it into understanding like a car tire has about 8 layers of stuff in the sidewall versus a all-terrain tire, an LT all-terrain tire that has 30 plus layers of stuff in the sidewall. So think about the difference in the thickness, 8 layers versus 32 layers, right? 3 layers of stuff. We need that sidewall thickness in order to be successful as we're scraping rocks and scraping against different things that we would never scrape against. And we're just hanging out on the asphalt. So LT is light truck. We want to look for that LT on the sidewall of our tire. Then you have different styles of tires. There's all-terrains, there's mud terrains, and then there's what they kind of call hybrid now. It's a weird word because it's misleading in a lot of the different brands. So I'm going to talk about BFG brand just because it helps you decipher how you would look at the tire types that would work best for you. So an all-terrain tire is something that has good traction and mileage on the asphalt, as well as good traction on the dirt. I use an all-terrain tire on Frankie and on my big trucks. All-terrain is across my board right now, just as an example. All-terrain tires are kind of less quiet, or they're more quiet, and that's because the tread blocks are a little bit closer together. Most all-terrains are also snow rated. You need to look for the snow rated if that matters to you. Then there's mud terrain tires. Mud terrain tires have a little bit of a softer compound than that all-terrain tire. That mud terrain tire then is meaning that softer compound, it's going to wear out a little bit faster on that asphalt, but it's going to have a little bit of a stickier grab. That softer compound is going to wrap over that rock just a little bit better than that all-terrain tire is going to. The big thing with mud terrain blocks with more gapping in between it, because as we go through mud, what happens? The mud gets stuck in our tires. All of a sudden, we end up with these slicks, right? So with bigger gaps in between the tread blocks, that allows the tire to rotate and the mud to evacuate. Now, all terrains do have a mud phobic bar, right? We all love that word. And so you have that that's working for you, but not like a true mud terrain tire. So you can have your all-terrain tire, you have your mud terrain tire. Now, in the BFG land, they have some wing tires. So the HD tire is heavy duty, and that is for like your bigger diesel trucks. The bigger diesel trucks were putting on the all-terrain tire, and it was just burning them up. The compound was too soft for the amount of torque and power that these big trucks were putting on to these tires. So they gave it a little bit of a harder compound. And I'm talking about this very simplistically because there's so much more to it, and I'd love to dig into it with you. But again, this is the short version. So it's a little bit of a harder compound, a little bit of a different tread pattern so that that truck can have a longer wear in gravel and on asphalt. At the other end of the spectrum, the all-wheel drive vehicles like our Subaru friends and such, we're trying to use that all-terrain tire. Well, the all-terrain tire, because it was built as an LT tire, big, strong, tough, had a little bit of weight to it. And so that weight on a Subaru tire, on a Subaru, was causing challenges in the A-arms and, really, I don't know. What do you want to say? The vehicle dynamic was not working out great, right? With a heavy tire up there causing all kinds of chaos. So they built the trail terrain. The trail terrain tire is very similar to the all-terrain tire, but it is a lighter weight tire. They shave some sidewall out of there because honestly, a Subaru is not going to be, all-wheel drive vehicle is not going to be as aggressive on the sidewall as a Jeep potentially could be. So very interesting on how all that goes together. There's also a buggy style tire, which is like a sticky. There's race tires, which is really exciting too. Thick sidewalls, really aggressive traction and tread so that as they're going down as fast as they can, they're not wearing them out. Then, like I mentioned, there's what they're calling a hybrid tire that is happening in some of these brands. I really want you guys, if you do get into a conversation at the tire shop about a hybrid tire, is really understand what your use of the tire is. Because I don't think that it is actually satisfying one group in particular. So dig in, understand your use, I drive to work every day. I drive in the snow. I like to go wheeling in the dirt, right? Like, what is your use? And then make sure that that hybrid tire is hitting that use market the way that you really want it to. Some will look at me like, some will look at you and look at it and say, okay, that looks like a mud terrain tire, but it operates like an all terrain tire. And so that's where these hybrid tires are coming together. It could work out perfect for you, for your use factor, or it could be different. All right. So that is the tire types. There's different sizes as well, metric versus inches. So, you talk about 37, 12, 5, 17s. 37 means it's 37 inches tall. 12, 5 is the width. And 17 is your rim size. You also have metric sizes like 275, 60, 17s. That's 275. And then 60 is the actual sidewall distance, but it's a percentage. So it's 60% of your 275 is the sidewall, and then your 17 is the rim size. Super confusing. If you're looking at adjusting your tire size, you can go to discounttire.com. They have an amazing website there, lots of information. It lines out all of the different numbers, details, and it gives you a size calculator on changing it over from metric to inches or inches to metric. We'll talk about if you want to upgrade and do your tire sizes in a minute. I want to continue on though, because all of this kind of makes sense if we come back around to that. So your air pressure, why do we want to do it? So air pressure, as we decrease our air pressure, we are increasing the amount of space that the tire is hitting the ground. So if you think about it, your vehicle weighs X amount of pounds. Your street pressure, you put that X amount of pounds on the street pressure, and this is your contact patch that's on the ground. Awesome. Now we're going to go off-road. We're going to go have some fun. Maybe you put a little more stuff in your vehicle. We'll just go with standard weight in the vehicle, right? And so you have a stock or your street pressure, and it has this much on the ground. Then we start to air down. As you air down, instead of having that much on the ground, you start increasing the length of the patch that you have on the ground. A lot of people think that it's width. It's truthfully the length. The width is the visual part. And yes, it does give our sidewalls a little more traction in order to be successful on the sides. So our why is to get more traction, right? It's also vehicle sympathy. So vehicle sympathy and us sympathy. So think about a basketball. You take a basketball, it's full of air, and that basketball just comes right back up at you, right? Easy peasy, and it is full of air and it's bouncing away. You take some air out of that basketball and it goes boop, boop, and it doesn't bounce as high at all. That's what we're also doing as far as vehicle sympathy goes and personal sympathy. So as you air down, there's less friction going up and down and up and down and up and down into all of the joints of your vehicle. Remember, I was talking about the Subaru, the all-wheel drive, right? Had these big tires up there and they were going a lot of those weren't getting aired down either. So the friction and jamming up all the parts in the corners was just really a challenge. So airing down, less aggressiveness as far as the shake goes. That also is very nice for the ride for your passenger and yourself inside the vehicle as well. So there's some whys and the concept of airing down. I'm not going to get into pressures tonight. It is a much bigger conversation. But what that conversation really has to do with is the weight of your vehicle. So always consider when you are looking at your tire pressures, how much weight do I have in there? Is it empty? Am I am I a person that just has a few bags in there? Usually black bags full of gear, right? Recovery gear, which is next month. Come back in July, we're going to talk about recovery gear. And so is that it? Or are you the overpacker like me that has the refrigerator and the cooler and the gear and the people and everything else, right? So make sure that you are paying attention to your weight, because that even changes the amount of distance that you have, contact patch that you have on the ground, even at your street pressures. Then as you air down, continues to change, right? Oh, and then let's add a rooftop tent, which is a ton of weight. And so that immediately changes the contact patch at all different pressures. All right. Now we talk about wheels. Wheels, there are steel wheels and there are aluminum wheels. The aluminum wheels are what you guys are used to seeing right now. They're fancy, they're pretty, they're gorgeous. There's all kinds of different styles. There's black ones, there's silver ones, there's gold ones. And then there's steel wheels. Steel wheels, for the most part right now, are still just silver. There are some black ones, but for the most part, silver. The wheel size has to match your tire size, right? So remember that last size is a 17-inch. And so it's a 17-inch wheel. There's like 7 other numbers that go along with the wheels. There's offsets and width and all the rest of it. A way bigger dive in that we're going to do later on our Trail Ready series that we're going to start. You'll see it all and you'll get it all, but I'm just doing the big picture right now. Big pro tip: if you buy new wheels and you get them put on and they're so fancy and they're so pretty and they're so nice and they put them on, and especially aluminum wheels, within 50 miles, you need to make sure that those wheels have been retorqued. Okay? Big deal. Here's the theory: metal, metallurgy. As you get something that is metal and it gets warm, it expands. As it cools off, it contracts. Gets hot, it expands. Cools off, it contracts, right? Metal, that's what happens. So as that metal does that, and it expands and contracts, what it's also doing is those lug nuts are getting pushed out and they don't go back in. Okay? And so as they get pushed out and then they don't go back in, they're not tight anymore. And so they start raveling off as you drive down the road or down a dirt road or whatever it is you're doing. So make sure that if you get new wheels, that becomes something that is a priority on your list, is to retorque them. Every dealer, every dealership, every person that puts wheels and tires on is going to tell you to do it. It's a thing. It's a very serious thing. So make sure you do that. All right. Offsets. When you hear the word offset, the offset is where the wheel gets attached to the lug nuts. Okay. So you can have a center offset, which means that there's equidistance between this rim where you have your lug nuts and the inners and the outers. There's also an inside offset, a positive and a negative offset. One pushes the tire and the wheel out, the other sucks it in, and the other keeps it straight. For the most part, when you get a stock set of wheels, when you have your stock vehicle, it's a centered offset, like it's equidistant. All right. As we get bigger tires, we have to push that tire out because it needs to get away from the vehicle, right? We made the tire bigger, so we have to utilize the wheel and have a different offset in order to pull that tire away from the inner fender well. Make sense? So we're going to have a bigger space on the rear and a smaller one on the front. That's wrong. That's backwards. Sorry. You're going to have a bigger one on the front and a smaller one on the back. And so then it's going to push that tire out a little bit more. So you may see some people that have their tires and they're like way out of the fender well, and that is like, oh, offset, offset. That's what that's about. Now they do have what's called wheel spacers. So you could use your stock wheel and add a wheel spacer in between. So it's going to, sometimes they're like 1 inch wheel spacers and it pushes that wheel out. So it's creating an offset on the wheel without a ton of money and a whole new set of type of wheels. However, the challenge with that is that wheel spacer is now your weakest link. So if that is something where you're going to go do big trails, do heavy wheeling type thing, invest in the new wheels, don't get caught on the wheel spacer situation. All right, and last but not least is brakes. So brakes are pretty important because we do want to stop. Now, going back to weight again and aggressiveness, if we're going to go down a bunch of big hills, maybe we even want to go to Colorado and run the great trails, you need brakes. They do now make oversized brake kits for most every vehicle that's out there. Most of the time, no, and this is what you got to check for your application, is that oversized brake kit will not fit in the stock wheels. Okay, you do need to get 17-inch wheels, 16-inch wheels, so that bigger brake rotor can fit in there. There are opportunities for bigger brake rotors. There's opportunities for better brake pads. The rotor and the pad, when you press on the brake, the pads go against the rotors and it slows the vehicle down. So that is a general concept of some of the words, some of the theories, some of the things that you might have heard about tires, air pressure, sizes, wheels, offset, brakes. We're going to deep dive into these. All of these is like a 2-hour class in itself, which is really exciting, coming up in our new Trail Ready series. Now, let me hit one more topic before we go. And that is, so you want to upgrade. So you want to get bigger tires, right? Like bigger tires, baby. It all depends. And this is vehicle specific also. So this is a hard one to just like talk it alive, not knowing who I'm talking to, not knowing my audience, not knowing the vehicles. But for the most part, as you start going up in size, you're going to end up with really considering different wheels. Can we put on a bigger brake kit? Should we put on a bigger brake kit? And remembering sometimes when we pull things apart, it's better to put new parts on right now than it is to wait and continue to do it. So bigger tires, consider wheels, right? So that we have the right size wheel to fit the tire. But then also, is it better? Do we need something with an offset that pushes that wheel away from the vehicle a little bit more, or is that a wheel spacer moment? Then how big is our vehicle? How heavy is it? Is this the time to put a bigger brake kit on it? Do we need bigger rotors? Do we want better stopping power, right? We don't want to just like put our brake on and slide down the hill. That's no fun. So as you go bigger, those are the 3 things to consider there. But there's also gearing that you need to start considering. Depending on 1 to 2 sizes up, you need to start thinking about how your vehicle is geared. And this is what you'll start hearing people say, like, ooh, once you go from, I'm just going to say, a 33-inch tire to a 35-inch tire, you can get away with not having to gear it. It's going to be a little bit different, but you should be fine. If you go from a 33 to a 37-inch tire, now you need to re-gear it. Re-gearing is a completely different topic, and we'll talk about that in a couple months. But what that is attesting to is when you put it into drive and you put your foot on the gas pedal and it just kind of stalls out like it's dogging, right? Like it's not really going anywhere. Well, that's because your gears aren't low enough to take on these big old tires that you just put on. So you have to re-gear it, open up that differential, put some new fancy gears in there, ring gear and pinion gear for my ladies that have been around for a while. And then you're ready to rock and roll, right? And so now when you come up to a stop sign and leave the stop sign, it's geared correctly. You hit the gas and off you go. So that's a great, like, fast, furious, and fun Tuesday, Trail Ready Tuesday on tires, traction, tire types, sizes, air pressure, wheels, offsets, brakes, and upgrade. So bam. But we have a big series coming up. Each of those is like an hour each. So we're going to dive in. On that point, I just want to recap really fast what we said at the beginning. If anybody wants to share your big milestone, make sure you type it in. Love to hear if you've hit a milestone lately. Very proud and honored to be part of the 10-year club for Ladies Off-Road Network. We also have 17 years of Bauer Motorsports Media, 32 years of changing tires in the off-road industry. And it is June, my friends. So everything we have been talking about since December, this is nothing new to you, is Nomad Rally starts on Monday. So make sure that you're signing up for it this week. And the 10-year anniversary party is next weekend. Get registered this week if you are not. If you already have been registered, then you should have already done your form to me. And you should also already be in Mighty chatting with everybody that's coming. It's been fun in there. And then you also have an email for 50% off in our store through Saturday only. And it's good for anything in the store except for events, like all of the items like this shirt. Limited time, right? Limited time. If you did not get that email and you want it, email me, Charlene at Ladies Networks with a big fat S at the end.com. And I will make sure to get you the email that has that in it. Also, if you did not get your mail in the mail and you want your sticker, then you also need to email me your address and I will get that going. I got a stack returned that is like that thick. Oh, I know. I need to sit down and text all y'all that I got your mail back to get your new address. So if you did not get mail and you think you should have gotten mail, email me your mailing address and I will mail it out. Okay. Yeah, all of that. All right. On that note, I think it is time for us to head over to Google Meets. Unless you guys have a question here, you can throw it down, and I will give you the link right now. Here is the link to Google Meets, and we can go over there and chit chat some more because that's what we love to do. And I'm coming over to the comments. Here you go. All right, there you go. So there is the Google Meets. Join me over there within a couple minutes. I will see you soon. I know I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Looking forward to the Nomad Rally. Congratulations on all of your guys's big accomplishments. I saw a few of them in there. That's really amazing. And you guys may only be seeing like the Facebook or the YouTube, whichever group you're in, but we have like a bunch of different groups going. So I'm seeing them all and very excited. So good job. Wow. Awesome. Love it to everybody. All right. There is the link. Grab the link, ladies. And I will see you there in a minute. All right. Good night, everybody. Happy June. Holy cow, it's June. Where did that happen? How did that happen? All right. See you at Google Meets.